Written by Karen Beaumont and illustrated by David Catrow. What does he have all over his head? Does he have paint all over his head? I wonder why. Whoa! Look at all the paint in there. Kind of messy, isn't it? Do you get messy when you paint? I ain't gonna paint no more. Do you guys know what ain't means? Ain't means I'm not going to do something. So he's really saying I'm not going to paint anymore. One day, my mama caught me painting pictures on the floor and the ceiling and the walls and the curtain and the door. And I heard my mama holler like I never heard before. Look at all of that paint. Would you get in trouble if you painted all over those walls? I would too. She said, "You ain't a-gonna paint no more." Where is that little boy? What's he sitting in? Sitting in a bathtub with his dog. They're getting clean. Look at all of that paint all over the place. I ain't gonna paint no more, no more. I ain't gonna paint no more. Can you find the little boy in this picture? Where is he? Yeah, he's sitting at the very tippy top of the stairs. He's watching his mom. What is she doing? She's putting away all those paints. Why do you think she's putting away the paints? She wants him to stay clean. She doesn't want him to be dirty. Can you see the dog? He's trying to get up the stairs too. He wants to sit by the little boy. That's what I say, but there ain't no way I ain't gonna paint no more. What is he doing? See, he had to climb on top of this box, on top of the bowling ball, top of the chair in these two boxes. What did he get? He got all of his paints down. What do you think he's going to paint this time? Maybe he's going to paint this table or this chair? What do you think? So I take some red. See the red paint down there? What's he going to paint? He says, and I paint my head. He painted his head. Can you point to your head? And he says, now I ain't gonna paint no more. Do you think he's done painting? Well, he says, oh, what the heck? I'm gonna paint my neck. Can you stretch your neck out real tall? Point to your neck. He says, now I ain't gonna paint no more. What color did he paint that neck? Do you see any shapes? He painted his neck green and yellow, and then what shapes do we see? I see some triangles. I see some circles. He's a pretty good painter, isn't he? But I don't think he's done just yet. He says, still, I just can't rest till I paint my chest. Can you point to your chest? Now I ain't gonna paint no more. Isn't that pretty? What color is that? Kind of looks like a purple snake, doesn't it? I guess there ain't no harm if I paint my arm. Can you stretch out your arm? Now I ain't gonna paint no more. What did he paint on his arm? What are those? Creepy crawlies. Ants. Should we count them? How many ants do you think there are? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That is a lot of ants on his arm. I ain't gonna paint no more, no more. I ain't gonna paint no more. Do you think he's done? I don't think so either. but I just can't stand not to paint my hand. Can you all put your hands up and wiggle your fingers? Give each other high fives. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. What did he paint on his hand? A face. See, he painted 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth. And oh my goodness, what is coming out of his mouth? There's more ants coming out of his mouth and crawling down his arm. You know what? And then I see some black, so I paint my back. Can you reach around and paint your back? It's kind of hard to do. Look, he's having a tough time. But now, I ain't gonna paint no more. I don't know though. Think he's done yet? Look at the dog. The dog's getting painted too. What colors do you see on that dog? I see some red, some blue, some yellow. Like an Easter egg. I'm gonna paint my leg. Can you kick your leg out in front of you? Now I ain't gonna paint no more. You see that dog? What is he dressed up as? He dressed up like an Easter bunny. Still I ain't complete till I paint my feet. Now I ain't gonna paint no more. How many toes do we have? We have 10 toes. He painted all of them so pretty. So let's see. He painted his head, and he painted his neck, he painted his chest, and his arms, and his hands, he painted his back, and his legs, and his feet. Is he all done? Is there anything left to paint? He says he's done. He isn't going to paint anymore. I ain't going to paint no more, no more. I ain't going to paint no more. But I'm such a nut. I'm going to paint my what? Who said what? Do you think the dog said what? No. I think the mom said what. She sees all this mess. All that paint all over the walls and all over her little boy. Look how messy he is. He looks pretty happy though, doesn't he? Y'all don't faint, 'cause there ain't no paint. So I ain't gonna paint no more. He used up all that paint, and then he had to wash it all off. So look, there's some more paint. The end. That was I Ain't Gonna Paint No More. Written by Karen Beaumont and illustrated by David Cottrell.